Hey party people. Recently in my backyard, my neighbor's tree during a windstorm lost a very large limb and it fell kind of across our property line, and I decided to be the one to clean it up. So I've been looking for some tools to help me do that. It's a really large branch, so it's going to take me a little bit of time, and cutting green wood is never easy. It's a lot harder to get through with tools. But I was looking around on Amazon and I found some tools that could help me with the job, and I wanted to pick up some things that I could also use for camping, throw in my car as a survival tool, anything like that. So I came across the company Mossy Oak, and they had a lot of fall sales going on, so I ended up picking up these three things. So I have the Mossy Oak camping axe. It's this nice little hatchet here. I have the Mossy Oak folding saw. Great little folding saw here. It's really nice for cutting through branches and such. And then while it wouldn't really help me with cleaning up the branches, I saw a multi-tool of theirs that looked really nice that was on sale. So I picked up this Mossy Oak 13-in-1 multi-tool as well. I'm always looking for additional tools to swap out my gear or upgrade and make my kit really minimal and optimized. And then anything I don't use, I either keep, gift, donate, or sell. Like my merchandise says, like I said in my intro video to the channel, that's kind of my method for keeping my possessions minimal, is anytime I get a replacement item, instead of keeping duplicates, I go down the keep, gift, donate, or sell mantra and decide which one I want to keep, which one I want to gift to someone who might get use out of it, which one I want to donate to someone in need, or which ones I want to sell if I can get a little bit of money back for things that I've purchased. So let's take a look at each of these tools individually, and I'll show some B-roll footage of me using the items, and we can talk about if these were worth the money, if they're going to make it into my kit, and how they worked out for me. So let's take a look. First up is the Mossy Oak camping axe. This retails for $19.99 US typically, but it's currently on sale for $15.99, which I think is an absolutely great buy. It measures in at 12 by 6 inches, and it weighs 0.86 pounds. So it's under a pound, and if you're someone who's going hiking or doing some kind of ultralight packing, this being under a pound makes it worth adding to the outside of your backpack or in your hiking bag. Anything you might need to use it for, you have a little camping axe to bring with you. I really appreciate the fact that Mossy Oak always includes these nice nylon sheaths, whether it's a sheath container for the multi-tool, the folding saw, or this cover for the hatchet here. I think it's really nice that they include it. It keeps it safe, so when you have it stored, you're not going to cut yourself. It has a really nice handle. It's kind of plasticky, but it feels very well secured. It feels very durable. And then you have this kind of rubberized wrap at the bottom that makes it really nice to hold in your hand, so you can get a little bit of momentum when you have a swing. And it's just an overall nice profile. And then you have a little hole at the bottom if you want to attach a lanyard or attach this to a carabiner or something on the outside of your bag, hang it off or something like that. So let's take a look at the blade itself. So what you've got on the blade here is a nice little blade. You can see I used it up a little bit, but it didn't ding up the blade. It still has a nice sharpness to it. It comes pretty factory sharp, so I didn't have any issues using this for what I needed to use it for. And like any tool with an edge, you're gonna have to maintain it over time, but for right now, it's still fine. You have this nice little blade here that comes down to a nice point if you need to hack at something. And then there's a really nice finger cutout, so if you want to do more precision tasks like whittling, taking off bark, or starting a ferro rod, you have that ability here as well. You have a couple different hex sizes here that you can use to tighten screws or loosen them, and you have one over here as well. Although, for me, I would probably just use a multi-tool or an individual ratchet or something, or wrench for something like that. I wouldn't really use a hatchet for that, but it's nice to know it's there in an emergency if your other tools break or you don't have them on you. Has a decently length blade here, and then you have this little notch at the end that allows you to strip bark from small branches. And that's really nice because if you're going to roast hot dogs or marshmallows, you just need to grab a little branch, strip the bark, sharpen it up with the other side, and then you can roast marshmallows over a fire or a hot dog really easily. So I think that's a nice inclusion. And while I would much prefer an axe when I'm splitting wood, a hatchet will work in a pinch. And if you're someone who's hiking, you're out camping, you're in a survival situation, it's nice to have this as a backup, although it would not be my primary tool when it comes to splitting wood. Because of its weight and its size, and the fact that its blade is only so long, it's not as good for splitting large logs. This would only work for small and medium. You could also chop down trees with this, you know, if you did kind of that V pattern where you come in at an angle, you come in the middle, you come in underneath. And if you worked at it and really put some oomph into it, you could definitely knock a tree down if you really needed to. But like I said, this is more of a survival tool and a backup option than it is a primary tool. But I do think its quality is really nice, and for $15.99 on sale, even at $20 its normal retail price, I think this is a great value. And I just think it's a really nice little hatchet to throw in your tool set if you're a bushcrafter, if you're a hunter, if you're someone that goes camping a lot, or just keep it on your back patio if you need to chop something up in the backyard. So definitely recommend this for the price, and I think the value and quality are all pretty good. Next up, you have the Mossy Oak folding saw. And again, it comes in this nice little nylon sheath. It's really good for storage here. You see the Mossy Oak logo there. It's got Velcro. So if you open that up, you can see the tool itself, and it also comes with 2 additional blades. So this actually works with 3 different types of material. There's a wood blade, a metal blade, and a PVC blade. So each of them are applicable in different ways. You could cut PVC piping if you're doing some plumbing work. You could cut metal. It would take a little bit of effort, but you could get through maybe like a metal pipe if you really worked at it. And then the wood, for obvious things like pruning or gathering firewood, you have that option too. It's got a nice secure lock at the end, so you press that and you can kind of lock it in place, and then it's not going anywhere. It's got an easy blade swap with a toolless design, so you can just unscrew this and swap between the blades really easily. Even the paces I put this through, the teeth still look pretty good. They're not all bent or dull. I used it to saw through a little bit of wood. It weighs 0.77 pounds, so it's even more lightweight than the camping axe. And it would be good for ultralight packers. You could slide this into a bag, slide it into a sling bag, a hiking bag, and you have a little way to gather firewood or cut down logs, build shelters, things like that. It measures in at 9.45 by 2.36 by 1.18 inches, and the blade itself is 7.5 inches. So what I would use this for is pruning trees if you wanted to cut some lower branches off, gathering firewood, chopping up firewood into smaller pieces that you can use. You can even use this to cut up cardboard or more light use cases. And I just think this is a great little size for a folding saw, and it works really well. I also have a Silky folding saw that I personally think is maybe a little bit higher quality blade and a little bit better. But for the price here, this costs $17.99 regularly, and it's on sale for $16.19. So that's like less than half the cost of a Silky saw. So I think that it's really worth it if you want to beat this thing up, use it a bunch in your yard. You have a lot of options there with a more inexpensive folding saw. And it's great to have a backup here. You can throw this in your bag, throw it in your car, and you always have a way to gather firewood. So I think this is an excellent option if you're looking for a low-cost way to saw some wood and you need it in a compact form factor. You want to take it on the road, you want to throw it into your work bag, or you want to keep it on the back patio to do stuff in your backyard. You have that option here, and it's just a nice little folding saw. Then the last item I have here is just the Mossy Oak Multitool. And again, it comes in a nice little nylon sheath. It has a little attachment point on the back if you wanted to use the MOLLE webbing to attach it to the outside of a bag, a pack, your belt. You have that option as well. It's got a nice little button here. Open that up. You can see it has kind of this camo design on it. It's very heavyweight. It feels very high quality. And then we can take a look at all the tools inside. So if you open it up, you have one of those usual spring-loaded combination needle nose pliers, regular pliers, and then you have a two-step kind of wire stripper wire cutter here. So it allows you to cut thicker wire and strip thinner wire because of the way the blade is designed. The very bottom tip of it allows you to get a little bit more leverage and cut through thicker gauge wire, while the other one allows you to kind of strip wire or cut smaller wires. So I think it's a pretty nice design. And then to access the tools, unlike a lot of multi-tools, you actually have to do it from the inside. So over here you have a combination bottle opener, can opener. You have a small flathead screwdriver. You have a little leather punch here if you needed to repair gear or put a hole in a belt and make it a little bit tighter, anything like that. And then you have a combination file and larger flathead screwdriver. And then the only nice thing about this design with having them on the inside is you can then close this up and everything's locked in place, it's a little bit more secure. And then when you open it up, you just press this little button here to release, and you can release all of these tools because they lock in place. Press the release, put it down, press the release, put it down, press the release, put it down. And then if we check out the other side, it's the same situation, but you just have some different tools over here. So you have this nice little saw blade, and this saw blade is fine for small tasks like cutting up small twigs, cutting through cardboard, things like that. It's not great for large items, obviously, because it's a super short saw. It has a short pull, so you'd be working at it for hours, but it's great to have in a survival situation as an emergency. You have a really small little flathead screwdriver here. That's always nice to see in case you have small precision tasks. And then you have a normal sized flat, but also kind of round at the end, Phillips head screwdriver if you've got some Phillips screws that you need to work on. And then the last thing is a pretty nice, sharp, pointy little knife blade here. And I've used this for whittling, carving. I've used this to cut through boxes. And I think it's just a nice little extra utility blade to have. And then, like I said, if you want to close up these tools, you hit the little activator here to allow you to unlock it. And then you can just push them closed. Do the same thing with the saw blade here. And then everything's tucked away neatly. And then when you want to close it, you can just fold it back up like that. And the only thing I'll say is I usually prefer to have the tools on the outside because it's a little bit annoying to have that extra step of undoing the whole multi-tool to the pliers just to get access to the tools. So I would kind of question that design choice. For me personally, I'd much rather them be on the outside, the lock and unlock feature on the outside. But I do think overall this is still a nice tool. I could definitely see myself getting use out of it. It's a nice, heavy, quality, durable multi-tool. And the only tool that I don't really need on it is the leather punch, but everything else is pretty useful for me. So I think overall, this is a pretty good multi-tool. I just wish that the tools were on the outside. Still worth picking up because it's pretty affordable. It usually retails for $20.99 US, but it's currently on sale for $19.79 US. So it's a lot more affordable than something like a Leatherman, whereas a Leatherman may be a little bit more quality and have a little bit more higher design thoughtfulness. This is still a great multi-tool for the price, and I highly suggest picking it up. And this measures in at 4.25 by 1.87 by 8.7 inches, and it weighs 0.8 pounds, so it's under a pound as well. It's interesting to note that the folding saw actually weighs less than this, and the camping axe just weighs slightly more. So it tells you that this is a heavyweight, durable tool. And if you need a multi-tool and you don't want to spend a lot of money, this could be an absolutely great option for you. So overall, the Mossy Oak camping axe, the Mossy Oak folding saw, and the Mossy Oak multi-tool are great little inexpensive tools to have around the house, to have when you're camping, to have for survival, to keep in your backyard, to keep in your tool bag. Anywhere that you need some quick bushcraft tools or ways to gather firewood or ways to get out of a jam or fix a tool real quick, you have a lot of options here that allow you the freedom to do those things and not spend a ton of money. So if any of these tools resonate with you, I've included the links in the description below and you can pick them up on Amazon. If you like tool and gear reviews like this, please like, comment, and subscribe because it helps the channel out a lot. Do you have any other tools that you would recommend that I pick up? Is there any other ones that you want me to review? Is there any other brands that you'd recommend over Mossy Oak? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. Thank you as always for watching, and with all that being said, I will definitely see you in the next video. Take care.